Well, welcome to Aperture Hour again. I wanted to do a little gimbal walk with the Feiyutech Scorpion 3 Pro Mini, and we've got the Nikon D5100 on here in video mode. It's got the auto tracking is switched on, so hopefully it's tracking me. I can't really tell. I keep on looking at the screen to make sure that the green square is there. It seems to be doing some things, but let's just make sure that we're in. Okay, so there. Hopefully it's got me there. All right, now let's have a look and see what this old 5100 D5100 can do. So it is possible to make videos for vlogging, outside activity. It lost me there for a second. Where is it gone? What's it tracking? Okay, let's make sure we're in focus. All right, I mean, it's gonna hunt a little bit. Believe it or not, I just did another shoot with this, walking around, and I realized that I hadn't turned on the microphone because I'm using a wired lapel mic with the sound booster, and I forgot to turn it on. So this is turning out to be quite the journey instead of the walk for me. But I'm gonna spin the camera around to see how it's doing outside scenery captures. So the gimbal is absolutely fantastic. It's not too heavy, although the camera is heavy, but as far as the balance of the gimbal and so forth is concerned, it's very good. I feel that one could pull off a complete shoot using this older camera, this older system. It is possible. With the Feiyutech gimbal, you will have to be mindful that if you have a camera that is as big as the Nikon D5100 with the screen rotated, the articulation screen rotated to you, you'll have to remove the what I call the scorpion's tail, so that when you do spin the gimbal 180 degree, it doesn't catch on. The screen will catch on to that tail end of the gimbal. So in order to avoid that, you gotta. Did it lose me again? Has it lost me? It's a little bit harder for it to track me as it comes close to me. We're on a one of the kit lenses here, 18 to 55 mil. What are we on? Focal 3.8. ISO is low, 100. But it seems to kind of track me better when I distance myself from the camera. I'm gonna use the remote here. This is the tail end of the gimbal that I was talking about. Okay, so bring the camera down a little bit. So there we go. So I've got a little bit more distance from my face, and see how that does. Yeah, it seems to do better when it's slightly further away. Obviously the lens will make all the difference in the world, as it always does, but it's a nice little camera, quite heavy actually. I don't know how much it weighs, but I would guess around, I don't know, 250, 300 grams. Sorry, I can't do imperial measurements. You have to stick with me when I do metrics. What I could do is demonstrate to you how the gimbal can also follow. All right, so now the gimbal is also tracking me. So I can turn to my side, I turn to the front and the gimbal will follow me. If I stoop down, this gimbal has an electronic eye that allows it to point and follow you. Of course, there is a discrepancy between where the gimbal electronic eye is and where the camera lens is. I suspect it makes up for that discrepancy using the algorithm that it has. But I'm going to set it down and I'm going to distance myself from the camera slightly. So you can see here I'm slightly away from the camera, and it will do a 360 rotation follow. And the camera also, the autofocus, is tracking me better. I've noticed that my head is completely in the green square, so it's focusing much better when the distance is a little bit more adequate. At arm's length, the lens that I have is not wide enough for this. So here we are, Nikon D5100, and this gimbal is capable of connecting to your camera in order to manage the focus and so forth. The little tail and the remote control is quite good. The screen is somewhat limited, there's not much on there, basic info. But I'm going to stop the tracking now. I'm going to pick up the gimbal, and this is how you stop the tracking. There we go. So now we have stopped using the remote. I'm going to bring down the gimbal a little bit so you can track me now. Focus, autofocus, come on. Come on, little baby, autofocus. Yeah, the autofocus isn't that bad. I mean, it is, the whole point of this experiment is to show that you can vlog with these older cameras. I mean, if I start running around, jumping up and down, it's not going to autofocus as fast because it's just too old of a camera, and the system is too old, and the software and the sensor and whatnot. But it is possible to still shoot decent video with this. I'm going to turn it around again. Now I'm walking at average speed. The gimbal is balanced, and it's very easy to balance this gimbal. It's not difficult at all. It's very windy here, so hopefully the mic is filtering all that wind. Just pan around a little bit with the gimbal just to show what it can do. Too bad it doesn't have slow-mo, huh? Could have done some nice slow motion here with the crows taking off, or even with me taking off. I have been known to take off every now and then. Spin around. There we go. You just got to be aware of the wired mic. Anyway, my whole point is to argue that it is possible to shoot with these older cameras if you can figure out the autofocus. And this particular Nikon D5100 actually does have in its menu system in the autofocus specifying facial autofocus, and like I said, at a distance it does pretty well. At arm's length it's a little bit more difficult, and that's mostly because of my lens. We have an angry crow here, but other than that it seems to do quite well. I'm actually quite impressed. Anyway, that was just a small demo. We'll talk about the gimbal a bit more. This was really a walkabout, as the Australians would say, just for me as well, because it's actually the first time that I'm putting this camera on a gimbal and walking around with it just to see what it does. Now it's focusing on my jacket, on my mic. Let me bring my face in again. Did it lose me? I think it lost me. Bring it into focus. Come on, find me. I mean, way too many variables out here for it to be able to do this effectively. There we go. You're on me, you're on me. All right. Anyway, there you have it. I think I've proved a point, even though it may have been a bad point, but a point proven nonetheless. Well, I think that's it for now. What a beautiful garden. Very beautiful front garden. Very quaint. Yes, we need more houses like this. And these crows are going absolutely crazy, though you can't hear them probably. Anyway, well, that was it. I think I managed to capture some things, even though they may not have been the things that I ideally set out to capture. But I think the autofocus is pretty good on this camera. Of course, Casey from Camera Conspiracies would kill me if he knew I was even filming with such a camera. He'd probably throw the camera at me and do something else with the gimbal. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Oh, by the way, bad news. We can't talk about the Nikon D3 or the Nikon D700 anymore, because yesterday I sold them because it was just too cumbersome to work with. I'll talk about that a bit later on. But thanks, everybody. See you next time. So here's that gimbal setup. This is the Feiyutech Scorp Pro 3 Mini gimbal. And there's the Nikon D5100. Just thought I'd give you a shot of it so that you know what we're dealing with. The whole system is much older. The gimbal is really good. At some point we'll do one with this, which is the Ronin S. Fantastic gimbal. I love this gimbal.